Okay, so I wanted to do a short video to explain number 7 from online quiz number 6, because as I explained in class, I think there's only one person in the entire class who got it right. So let me show you kind of what you did and then what's wrong with that and how to fix it. So most of you looked over here at this series term and you thought about, I'm going to turn it into geometric, so you thought about that as being -1 times -1 to the n, and then you already had e to the n on the bottom. So you separated that n plus 1, which is fine. So that means you're thinking of it as the series of -1 being out here in front, and then the r, the ratio, is -1 over e, and that's what's being raised to the n. Okay, so now it looks just like geometric. So a lot of you jumped in and you said the sum equals the first term, which is -1, all over 1 minus the ratio, which is -1 over e, so plus 1 over e. And then you simplified. You said, hey, what if I just multiply the top and the bottom by e? So I'm going to have -e over, if I multiply the denominator by e, it's going to turn into e plus 1. And that's what overwhelmingly the majority of you submitted as your answer. But if that's the answer, then you're assuming that when you adjusted your series term, you're assuming that that starts at n equals 0, right? Because that's the formula we use if n equals 0. But clearly, look up there, they've listed out the terms. Clearly, the 0 term is not 1 over e, because this is saying that the 0 term is -1. And do you see that's not it? And if that doesn't make sense to you, then just plug in n equals 0, n equals 0. If n equals 0, you're going to have -1 times -1 over e to the 0 is gone. So the n equals 0 term is -1, not 1 over e. So we're saying this is not the n equals 0 term. In fact, isn't it the n equals 1 term? Because come back down here to the series. If this n is 1, you'd have -1 times -1 over e, which is 1 over e. So all of that to say, if you're going to write the series like this, that's perfectly fine, but you have to recognize that it doesn't start at equals 0. It starts at n equals 1, which then you know, oh, that means I have to take what I had gotten for my sum and subtract out that 0 term, which is -1. So essentially you're adding 1. And so if I combine those, or get a common denominator, I could say, oh look, I want my denominator to be e plus 1. That means I have to multiply the numerator by e plus 1. And so therefore on top you're going to have -e plus e. Those are going to cancel, and then all you have is that 1. So the answer is actually 1 over e plus 1. Okay, hope that helps. I would definitely use this concept before doing the first question on your next online quiz. Let me know if you have any further questions.